What did I say? What did I just say? Jesus, come on now. I'm gonna eat a little Hubba Bubba. It's not sponsored, but I just need something to get me through this video. A little Hubba Bubba to the head. Serve it bomb. Natural Public. I know it's like super rude to like chew gum while speaking with someone or doing a video, but you know, if the Nets aren't going to play defense, I'm not going to sit here and be cordial while making a video. I'm going to find a way to entertain myself because I might mess around and fall asleep doing the I told you so dance. Now listen, I am not proud of the fact that I was right. Not at all. Not at all. I was hoping that, this is some good gum. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. That's just some good gum. Listen, I don't take pride in being right about stuff like this. In fact, it actually harms me just a teensy bit. When I told you after last game that we could be happy in the moment, but we couldn't let it go anywhere past that, this is what I was referring to. The Nets, the literal next game after having one of the biggest upset victories of the season, beating the defending champion Milwaukee Bucks in Milwaukee, come back home and lose by 40 to a Toronto Raptors team that did not have Fred VanVleet. And I must say, Pascal Siakam only played like 10 minutes. And we lost by 40. You take Kyrie out from the equation, it is a completely different team. Patty Mills still started. Why? I haven't the slightest idea. And again, that is no knock on Patty. While I have been saying the entire season he should be coming off the bench because that's what we got the man for, because he must be exhausted at this point, and because that is what he signed up for some reason we still decided to start him, even though we went through all that trouble to sign Dragic. Now, if Dragic is not able to play starting point guard minutes, why didn't we go get Schroeder? Oh yeah, because he's friends with Steve Nash. Speaking of Steve Nash got COVID and Jacques Vaughn had to coach. So not only were we going into a game where at the last moment our coach gets switched. We literally didn't have a coach. I know I make a joke all the time about how Steve Nash is not a coach. We literally didn't have a coach. Jacques Vaughn had to step up. I thought it was the bubble days. I'm watching a Jacques Vaughn team play the Raptors. And for anyone who remembers the bubble, we all know what happens when a Jacques Vaughn team plays the Raptors. They get smacked around. And history repeated itself yet again. The only difference is Joe Harris wasn't out there to embarrass us somehow, but that's not here or there. They got destroyed, absolutely destroyed. And the only thing that was different is the fact that Kyrie Irving was not playing. But with Kyrie Irving not playing, and for some reason Patty Mills still getting starter minutes and being in the starting lineup, even though we got Dragic, so I don't understand the point of that. And it's a completely different team. It is a completely different team, and you can see. You can see that not only did there have to be extreme adjustments from the insane NBA 2K22 level of defense that the Toronto Raptors were playing, but you could see on the face of Drummond, you could see on the face of Seth Curry, that it was like their first time having to adjust to, we have to go back to what we were just, because it's two different game plans. When Kyrie's out there, he's going to draw the attention. He's going to kick it out over to someone, and that is someone who is used to it. Because yes, the Raptors were trapping literally anyone who got the ball. I mean, they were playing upward basketball church league type style, where someone gets the ball, immediately rush them. When you rush players like a Kessler Edwards who are not used to, on the professional level, having to deal with this type of coverage, people start to freak out and people don't know what to do. Whereas if that were Kyrie Irving, when he sees a triple team, this is a bad example because Kyrie would just shoot. But normally other stars would see some form of a double and kick it out and have experience on the NBA level of what to do. When you have Kessler Edwards out there, when you have Seth Curry out there, when you have Drummond out there, let me take Drummond out of the equation because they barely let Drummond have the ball, but that's not here there. It is a completely different ball game. And see, the Nets are in this interesting predicament where you have these new players that have been added onto the team who already have to adjust to playing under the Brooklyn Nets style, if you will. I won't say their plays because we don't have any, but under the Brooklyn Nets discount D'Antoni type style, right? But then the Nets have to be able, and I'm talking about the new players that we acquired, they have to get used to knowing that there's two different teams. So one, you're learning a new system. System was the word I was looking for. You're learning a new system because you're joining a new team, but you also have to know that there are three different versions of the team. There's the version where there's no stars and it's just y'all. There's the version where you have Kyrie but not Kevin Durant. Then you have the version where, and honestly, your secondary version of that, so we'll say it's the 2B, is when you have Kevin Durant but no Kyrie Irving. Your option C is when all of them are out there, basically. Because I truly believe if it's just Ben Simmons and these guys, it's going to be absolutely nasty, but that's not here there. So you're really looking at three different realities. There's no stars, there's one of the stars, or both of them are out there. Again, I'm not sure what type of impact Ben Simmons is going to have because we don't know when that man's going to play, and I haven't seen that man physically play amongst the Brooklyn faithful. So I'm not adding him into the joints, right? I'm strictly speaking on these three right here. There's either no stars, one of the stars, or both of the stars. Those are three different teams you have to be ready for. And so far, Curry, Drummond, and Dragic have only experienced option 1 and 2. But you can see the transition from 2 to 1 was not flawless. It was not a flawless transition. It was not a seamless transition. This was a major bump in the road. They had to get used to, oh yeah, it's just us. And then again, on top of that, I don't know who turned the sliders up on Toronto, but their defense was absolutely, I'm serious, church league upward defense on the part of Toronto. Round of applause for them. I normally don't acknowledge the other team in these videos, but that is suffocating defense. That reminds me of, you remember when the Miami Heat during the Big Three era just had disgusting swarming defense? That's what it felt like. I'm gonna keep it at that with you. That's honestly what I was checking for Eric Spoelstra. That's how insane that madness was. Now, I could sit here and I can go up and down and I can name each player that either played well or messed up, right? I could sit here and have some of the spicy takes that y'all do on Twitter. I can sit here and I can talk trash about James Johnson because from the literal opening second, that man had a turnover. We won the tip-off, and he turned the ball over. But that's where my trash talk ends there. Because again, neck tattoo, you know my rules. And a lot of y'all, let's keep it being some of the stuff you were saying on the interwebs, you would not say to James Johnson tattooed face. Let's keep it a theory, but that's not even there. I could go up and down and talk about the players. I could talk about the fact that Steve Nash ironically got COVID, and he wasn't able to coach. I could talk about Jacques Vaughn. I can make a joke about Blake Griffin. I could do all sorts of things, but instead, I am here to hammer home for the final time, because this is the last time I'm bringing it up. I'm here to hammer this home for the final time. Are you people happy? All you Kyrie lovers who are just ignoring logic, are you happy now? Because much like I said in the last recap, this is our reality now. This is what we have to deal with. This is what we are stuck with. The trade deadline is over. This is what we are stuck with. Kyrie Irving legally not being able to play and Kevin Durant being out with no Ben Simmons. This is what we are left with. We traded someone who was able to play for someone who isn't playing in Ben Simmons. And doing nothing with Kyrie Irving whatsoever. How many times did you hear Sarah Kustoff and Ryan Rukos and occasionally Michael Grady sprinkle in there how important tonight's game was and how important tomorrow's game is, the home and home with the 7th place Toronto Raptors. We are going to see part 2 of what we just saw tomorrow, probably. And Fred VanVleet, or however you say his name, is coming back tomorrow too. So it's going to be even more disgusting unless they come out there with some form of a real game plan to not get punched in the mouth again. There is no Kyrie in sight. If the mandate was lifted yesterday, then we would have had Kyrie tonight, but we still wouldn't have had him tomorrow. Because he can't play in Canada. Do you see what I'm saying here? Even on a positive side where the mandate was lifted, Kyrie Irving can still play half of those games. But with the mandate not being lifted, Kyrie can't play any of the games. And there's no KD in sight. No nothing. No nothing. The fate of our team balances on mandates and state law. Shouldn't it be on basketball? And if we're talented enough to win the game, not can Kyrie legally play or not? And I'll say it again. We had the chance in the beginning of the season to trade Kyrie for Ben Simmons and have this done. So if we were at this point in the season, assuming the canon and the storyline is exactly the same, the only difference is in the beginning of the season, we trade Kyrie. We hear, oh, that man's not going to be able to play the home games. We're probably not going to let him play the away games either until around Christmassy time. If they just said, let's not even deal with that shenanigans and trade him right now for someone who is able to play again. This has nothing to do with him being vaccinated or not. I don't care what he decides. I don't care what his personal choice is. This is a basketball net. We are talking about the Brooklyn Nets, not Kyrie's health and safety. The Brooklyn Nets. We're talking about the team. We should have traded him for someone who is able to play. But we didn't. We waited. We didn't want to be rude. We didn't want to be mean. I mean, it's not like Kyrie has like a no trade clause or something like that. But we didn't want to be rude. Kyrie didn't want to go anywhere. We respected that. Didn't have that same respect for Karis LeVert. Cool. And I understand his health and stuff. It all worked out for the better. We didn't have that same respect for Jared Allen. Did he want to go? Nope. Let's trade him for the better of the team. But it's cool. It's cool. We waited. We said we're not going to do that. This is all going to work out. It didn't. They made a last-minute trade to salvage the season because James Harden was sick of it. And now we're stuck with Kyrie Irving, who legally can't play important games like this. Kevin Durant, who's hurt. And Ben Simmons, and we don't know when he's going to play. And for some people who aren't following my logic, oh, you're saying we should trade Kyrie for someone who's going to play, but Ben Simmons isn't playing? There would have been a brief ramp-up period for Ben Simmons, absolutely. But we would have gotten that done in October. He would have been in shape at this point. We would have had an entire half a season's worth. 3/4 of a season, honestly. So even if the same chain of events happen and Kevin Durant gets hurt, right now we would still have Ben Simmons and James Harden. Right now we have no one. Going in tomorrow's game against the Raptors in Canada, this important game to make sure we don't get too far back in the standings because we're about to get lapped by the Hawks in a second. I don't know if y'all are looking at the records and the standings of the East, but we're about to get lapped by the Hawks and drop down to 9th place. We're going to be chilling with the Knicks in the basement in a second if we don't figure this out. But unfortunately, there's nothing to figure out. We're stuck with this. The trade deadline is passed. This is the team we're stuck with. So we will continue for the rest of the season to do the dance of, can Kyrie play? Is KD hurt? Is Ben Simmons ready? We will do that for the remainder of the season because of the actions that the Brooklyn Nets decided to take. And we have to suffer through that. We could have figured this out. But because the Nets waited and didn't do anything, this is what we're stuck with. So tomorrow, if we get annihilated again by the Raptors, this is what we're stuck with. And this is what y'all wanted. So I hope you're enjoying it. I hope you're enjoying 40-point blowouts to the Raptors. I hope you're enjoying battling and jockeying for positions in the play-in tournament. Because this is what y'all wanted. Sick of this, man.